Jay Sano without intro music. Jay Sano with intro music. Intro music remix. Jay Sano 19. Jay Sano 19. Jay Sano 19. Jay Sano 19. Hello everybody and welcome back. And today, guess what? It's my 50,000 subscriber special. This is an amazing feeling to me, and I have nobody to thank but you guys for this wonderful experience. Definitely, I will have to admit that Vex pushed me over the edge a little bit just the other day, so much love out to you, Vex. Mwah. That was great. He sent his little minions out to my channel when we were playing UHC, and it was an insane surge of subscribers to put me over that 50,000 mark. And much appreciated, but I much appreciate everybody else also who did not come from Vex's channel, have stuck with me from the beginning, or just come in throughout the time. So today, I thank you all. Like I said, wonderful, amazing feeling. So, an update video. This will also be on top of my 50,000 subscriber special. As you can see, I'm here with Jeff. He's not really doing much. He's just kind of here. Little Jeff at least. Big Jeff didn't fit in the frame, so he had to sit this one out. But you'll see more of Big Jeff coming up in the future. I have no questions about that. So let's see. What do I want to talk about first? First thing off, notice, this is actually kind of a funny story, wearing my Minecrack shirt. This is the first Minecrack shirt I have ever owned, and I've owned it for quite a while, and this is only the second time that I've worn this shirt, and let me explain why. So, I noticed I was the only person not wearing their Minecraft shirt at the PAX East panel, if you guys caught the PAX East panel. So, we got these shirts in Florida during Minecon. So, everybody who was at Minecon had one of these shirts made, and let me see if I can do this without actually screwing up everything. It's got my name on the back and everything. Oh my god, I've got a little teeny bit of room in here. So, I don't know if I'm bending down enough so you guys can see that, but either way, my name's on the back and everything. So, this is my personal Minecraft shirt, and we got them in Florida. I wore it in Florida the day that I got it from Good, and then we went out that evening, and I ended up taking out the shirt, and I ended up leaving it in Florida. I left my whole bag at the back of the last gathering that we had because I had to leave at a very early flight in the morning, so I took off and realized I had left the bag there. Texted Good immediately because I knew everybody else was still there. And I said, hey, can you grab it? It's on this chair. And he said, yeah, no problem. I'll get it and I'll get it out to you. So I was like, great. Awesome. So my shirt was in there along with a lot of my swag from Minecraft or from Minecon, which is awesome because now I have it back. Because, yeah, the story does end with me getting it back, obviously, because I'm wearing the shirt right now. But the funny part about this is that Good never got the chance to mail it out to me. No big deal. We just met up again at PAX East. Good he told me before I left, he said, make sure you have enough room in your luggage to take this back because I'm going to bring it with me to PAX East, which it's not big. It was one of those little backpacks. I don't know if you saw. I should have brought it down here, but it's one of those like little backpacks you get as like a swag bag. It's only like this big and this thin maybe, so it wasn't even that big of a deal. And I was like, sweet, I'm going to get all my stuff back. So he hands it to me when we get to PAX East, and I kind of was like, oh, did you ever open this thing up by chance? And he's like, no, everything's just in it just the way it was. You know, I wasn't going to go through your stuff. And I was like, okay. This shirt was in that bag, not because I didn't want to wear it anymore and put it in there, but because when we had gone out, somebody spilled a drink on me. I don't even think it was me. I think somebody knocked a drink on the table over, and it soaked me. So I was like, well, take this shirt off now, you know, throw it in the backpack, you know, I'll just take it home and wash it. That was about 6 months prior to me getting the bag back at PAX East with this backpack that had never been opened since then. So I was like, this shirt is going to be sitting in this soaked beverage. I don't even remember what it was. I want to say it was some liquor drink of some type that was like really fruity type of deal. So something that was going to be really bad. So I basically quarantined the bag at PAX East, threw it in another plastic bag, like double wrapped it, threw it in my suitcase to come home. Yes, my suitcase. I don't even bring suitcases anymore. My duffel bag to come home. And I basically, when I got back to my house, I took it, I threw it directly into the washing machine, and I was like, into the washing machine it goes, let's run this thing a couple times. Either way, long story short, it turned out wonderfully. I got it again. I can wear it. So I figure for my 50,000 subscriber special, I will sit there and wear this shirt. So that was a funny story about this shirt that I thought you guys would appreciate. Moving on, I've said for the last couple of videos of mine that I was going to have a webcam video because I wanted to talk about kind of like channel updates and things like that. One of the channel updates that I'm going to be doing soon, I'm trying to get the logistics of it all figured out, but as I stated at PAX East, in case you didn't see the panel, I used to be a college radio station DJ, and I don't know if DJ is even the right word for it or not, but you could basically take, if you went to this college, and even the community was allowed to be involved, but it was the college I went to for my first undergraduate and my first master's degree, Kettering University out in Flint, Michigan, and I was wearing the shirt back then. No, I was going to school for my master's program at the time when they got the radio station up, so I signed up to get a show, I got accepted to get a show, and my buddy Mark and I, we did a show together that we called TMI. It was too much information because we were the guys known for, it was actually three of us. It was the people known for having too much information in the middle of conversations were my friend Mark, my friend Mike, and myself. And we would sit at places for hours and just debate and talk and have a good old time, but with ridiculous amounts of information, most of, a lot of it having to do with, like, you see my channel, so you know that I talk about bathroom habits. Like, we would do that in the middle of public places and people would be like, why are these guys talking about taking a crap right now? I don't quite understand where this is going, but that's a very general way to put it. But basically we did a radio show which was just a talk radio show that we just had music for like interludes, but it was pretty much a talk radio show. I'm a big talk radio fan if it's entertaining talk radio. So we would take like news stories, things like that. Like the funny news stories were a big part of our show, and then big public events that were happening, and we'd have our different debates on either side of it, and we had a really good time with it. Granted, the radio station was a local, low-range FM radio station. I think it's called low power FM is what it is. So it only had like a 6-mile radius. So it got to the town of Flint. So anybody from Flint who remembers TMI, yeah, that's us. But so I was thinking, and I was like, you know what? It'd be fun to get together and get this radio show going again in a different format. Obviously not on the radio, but how could I go about doing that? It'd almost be like a podcast. So I got in touch with my buddy Mark. Mark is the guy who did it with me, and it was because Mike was never available. But I got in touch with both Mark and Mike, and I said, hey guys, what do you think about this idea? What if we were to do like a weekly hour-long radio show, kind of like we used to, and maybe we could even set up I would do it live on Twitch initially, so that we could get some audience participation as our callers. Because I've always talked about doing Twitch shows or live streams with callers, which I've done before. That worked out pretty well, but it was difficult doing it on my own when I'd go back and forth to the windows. Let me drag people into here. But I figure with a couple people actually talking, I would have more time to be able to moderate properly and get people on the right channels. It's just an idea. It's a proof of concept. So we'll see where it goes. I was just throwing the idea out and said, what would you think about this? Now, these guys are not big into the YouTubes. They're not big into the live streaming. They don't understand how a lot of this stuff works. So we're trying to work out logistics on it right now, as well as the fact that I'm here in Washington, D.C. Mike is still out in Michigan, and Mark actually lives in Japan. So it's going to be really interesting to see if we can get this to work. But I think that's what would be a fun dynamic of it, is because not only is it people from across the United States, but, over in Japan as well, if we had this normal show together. And I talked to Mike. When I go back home, I'll go out with him and we'll sit down and have a conversation, grab a beer somewhere or something like that. But we don't talk nearly as regularly as we used to because of the fact of the logistical differences. Whereas we used to be together all the time and have this like amazing off-the-wall debates and conversations. And we would get into very controversial topics too, not because we wanted to get controversial, but because we're the type of people who we enjoy debating, we enjoy listening to other people's points, and we'll tell them, no, you are wrong, and this is why you're wrong, but we're not holding a grudge, we're saying our personal opinion. We've been at places before where we started talking about some crazy off-the-wall stuff that you would like never touch on YouTube with a 10-foot pole because of the controversial backlash that you would get. like politics, religion, things like that. And we've had people, random people, jumping into our conversations with us because they enjoyed the fact that we were all talking about all these different points of view. And by the end of it, these people were screaming and yelling and stormed out of the place that we were at because they were so angry. Whereas we're the three with the differing viewpoints, and we'd get done and everybody would leave and we'd be like, okay, man, see you tomorrow. And my screen just went blank. Hopefully this thing is still recording. And I mean, we'd be the ones that be like, we're having the most controversial viewpoints and all this stuff, but we're the ones that are still here enjoying, shaking hands, you know, clanging our glasses together and saying see you tomorrow, because we don't take it personally. We like other people's opinions. So we had a lot of fun doing debates and talks and discussions and things like that. And we want to try to get it together on the YouTube channel, kind of like as a podcast or whatnot. And like I said, logistically, we're still figuring it out. I'm still trying to explain to them exactly how all this stuff works, because they don't know, they're not into the YouTube scene, they're not in the live stream scene as of now. So tell me what you guys think about that idea. I think it's going to be a lot of fun if it works out right. There's a high chance of failure. There's no question about that. But you know what? We'll never know how well it's appreciated or how well we actually do together unless we try. And the funny thing is, since we've actually had these debates many years ago, both these guys have kind of switched their viewpoints to the other person's view as life has progressed, and they've been like, you know what, I don't think I was right about this. I actually believe whatever on the other side of the debate now. And it's funny because they both have switched to the opposite sides of things we used to debate about, which I think is going to make it very entertaining if we get into that. But anyway, that's one of the updates I was going to be talking about here. What's my next one? Oh, next update. I've already put this out in a video, but I'm going to say it again. I do have a P.O. box now here in Washington, D.C. where I can get to. If you guys want to send me anything, any physical packages, I would love letters, drawings, anything you guys want to send. A postcard. If you're on vacation, shoot me a postcard. I think it'd be awesome. The address is P.O. Box 48727, Washington, D.C. 20002. Got the, wrong hand. Got the link right here. This is not a clickable link, so I guess it's just the text right here. If it was a clickable link, that'd be kind of weird if you could just click a button and send me a package. So this is not a clickable link, just a package, or just a text box showing you where you can send packages and things like that too. So right here, go to it. No, don't go to it. Mail things to it, and I will get them. That would be awesome. Next, I will have a clickable link for this one right here, but I have now made my first Spreadshirt shop. It's nothing special. I just went to Spreadshirt. I know a lot of people have their Spreadshirts, designs, things like that, and I was like, you know, I should get into this scene. I think it'd be fun. Now that I actually have a logo that I really like as well, it's basically just some things with, let me see if I can get a good shot here of this, if for some reason it's not focusing, but this logo was designed by, I think you guys can see that. This logo was designed by my friend Matt, who, I have a lot of friends with start with M, Matt, Mark, Mike, but either way, it was designed by Matt. You guys might know him on YouTube as Matthew P. He is a graphic art major and living in Seattle. He's the guy I stayed with when I went to PAX Prime. And he made me this logo, and I think it's really cool. It's actually his own font that he designed as well. So I think that's a cool novelty of it, but it's the kind of like a medical and firefighter symbol next to JSano19. And I just put it on a couple, I only have 4 products up there right now. I just made it when I was at work the other day. It's like a coffee mug, 2 coffee mugs actually, 1 traveler, 1 for drinking here because I love my coffee. I love my coffee out of mugs like Detroit Lions mugs and things like that. This actually isn't a coffee mug, but I have a few Detroit Lions coffee mugs, but I might be replacing it with one of these. I'm pointing like you can see because my other monitor has it on there. So right here, just off the screen, is where I'm looking at this mug at. I've got a water bottle, and I've got male or unisex and female shirts as well on there, just with the logo. So go check it out. If you want to order one, go for it and order one. I would greatly appreciate it, and it'd be awesome to actually see somebody wearing my shirt or drinking a coffee mug with my logo on it. I'd be very excited. But anyways, right here, again, we're going to put the link, and it's jsano19.spreadshirt.com is the link to my storefront. So go ahead and go there, buy something. I think it'd be pretty awesome. What do we got next? Actually, last topic for this show is I need some assistance. This is going to be some basic assistance that just going to take a creative mind thought in just in the comments. It's not like, design something, create something, nothing like that. But I actually have an interview coming up with Max Collins. And Max Collins is the lead singer for Eve 6. He's also got his own solo album coming out, Honey from the Icebox. I know you guys have heard me talking about him before. And don't worry, I should say, or shouldn't say, don't get excited. It's not that I have an interview for him or an interview with him because I'm such a popular guy that he's like, hey, I want to get an interview with that guy. I purchased the interview through his Pledge Music campaign when he was raising money for his solo album, which is coming out next month. And I have no shame in promoting Max Collins. I think he's an amazing writer, amazing singer, songwriter, I should say. Amazing songwriter, amazing singer. Eve 6, phenomenal band, one of my all-time favorites. I have a feeling his solo album's going to be great. I'd love to see Eve 6 get back together. But anyways, my interview with him, one of the campaign funds that I purchased. If you don't know, Pledge Music is kind of like a Kickstarter for musicians to like fund albums and things like that. So one of the items on there was a 20-question Skype call with Max Collins, and I was like, yeah, I'd pledge to that. Be able to actually sit down face to face in a way, as much as Skype is, as much as I am to you guys right now, and ask Max Collins some questions. I think that would be awesome. So he wrote me an email the other day saying, hey, Jeff, when can we get together and get this interview? So I was thinking, what kind of questions can I ask Max Collins? Where did you start your music career? What gave you the inspiration for this song? And I was like, no, I don't want to do something like that. I know a decent amount about him in general, as in the last 6 months as well. I've actually had some personal contact with him through this Pledge Music campaign and all that stuff. We've written some emails back and forth. He used to do some live streams where he would do an acoustic live stream set, and there was actually very few people in there, which I was very surprised, but you could ask questions in the comments. So he answered a lot of questions that I would have ever had about his music anyway, and I'm sure I have a couple I want to ask. So I was thinking last night, and I was like, what can I do to make this a little bit more exciting? And I was like, maybe I can do an interview, a quote-unquote interview, where I just throw him off just to see. I want to just be that different person and completely throw him off and hopefully make him laugh. Hopefully he'll appreciate it and not think I'm being an asshole. Because that's not how I want to come across. But I want to be something, questions like, so Max, Eve 6, you guys started when you were young, you didn't have to go to college because your band had already made fame and fortune because of, when you were really young. So knowing that in your life, what kind of fruit would you like to be if you could be a fruit? So, I mean, something, just go one way with a question and then just completely ask something off way out in left field, just to kind of have him be like, so yeah, wait, what? Because I think it would be funny and different, because I'm sure the guy, especially doing this Pledge Music campaign, I'm not the only person who's going to get 20-question Skype call with him. He's probably got the same questions over and over and over again. So what was your, when did you first realize that, your band had made it? What was the inspiration for Inside Out? Things like that. I'm sure he's going to get over and over and over again. So I want to do something different, and I need your help with questions like that. So I would love in the comments for you to just, it doesn't even have to have a lead up like mine did. I think that would make it funnier just because of the fact of it would be a misdirection type of thing. And I think misdirections are hilarious. But even if you have just one of the most random questions you could ever come up with that you would ask somebody famous if you met them, something that has nothing to do with them, or even like for the first part of the interview, pretend I think he's somebody else, that would be kind of funny as well. But I think that might just get him a little upset because he wouldn't know the humor where I was going with it. But send me questions like that in the comments. I think that would be great to look through these, to read these, to come up with a list of my 20 questions that are just absolutely nothing to do with what he thought the interview was going to be about. So I think that would be great. So please comment below and help me with that stuff. But this video, I'm going to bring it to an end here now. Again, this officially is my 50,000 subscriber special, as well as the channel update that I had been talking about. Thank you all so very, very much. You don't know how much it means to me to know that people really appreciate what I'm doing. and tune into my videos and just want to see me do more and put their support in there to watching my videos, liking my videos, you know, commenting on them, subscribing. Like that, it's an amazing feeling. You know, I've been relatively close to 50,000 for the last couple months. Yeah, and it sounds funny to say that, but I think I was at like 40,000 about, you know, 5 or 6 months ago, somewhere in that time frame. So it was a slow build up to 50. From there, I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying that I knew it was coming. And even yesterday, before I went to work, I was at like 49,500 or something like that. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be great. I'm going to hit 50,000. And I tell you, I looked at my phone. And actually, I didn't even look at it first. I looked at one of the comments that came in on the UHC video. I think it was from Vex, was the first one, actually. And it said, congrats on 50,000 subs. And honestly, I was just kind of like, whoa. I actually got there. Like, it was way more of a, like, this amazing feeling that came over me than I ever anticipated. Because I was so close to being there anyway that I was just like, oh, yeah, 50,000 subs. Yay, this is going to be great. And I was just like, wow, I'm there. Wow, like, it blows my mind. It truly blows my mind. Oh, one last thing before I end this video. My website, jsano19.com. It does exist. It does have a lot of under construction. I haven't had much time to work on it. Some people have gone there and looked at it and been like, yeah, the only thing that works on your site is the donate link, which they're absolutely right. It is the only thing that works on my site. I do kind of feel bad about that. I'm trying to get it more. I mean, the main page works right now. I think it's a little funny because I was trying to do some editing and getting more video feeds on there. But you can go to the main page at least and see my latest video and a list of my last bunch of videos. So, but I wouldn't mind if you guys went and checked out the website. Not to donate. If you want to donate, yeah, feel free. I'd love that. But no, I'm not sending you there to donate. But give me some tips and suggestions, and not tips and suggestions as in like, oh, the color scheme should be this or do this. Like, I know how to do website design, as in the programming part. I'm a really bad designer though, so that, I mean, one day I'll get that part worked out. But tell me, like, what kind of features would you like me to add to the site that aren't there or don't look like they're planned for the site? You know, do you want to see YouTube statistics next to my videos on the main page? You want like a little forum where people can talk? I really don't actually want to get into the forum thing because I'd rather people comment in more public places like the Minecraft subreddit and things like that, as opposed to just like something personal on my website. But just give me some hints and suggestions of things you'd like to see up on that webpage, and I will see what I can do with it. It's a slow going process, but one of these days I'll get something done. But anyways, guys, thank you again. 50,000 subscriber special. Stay tuned for talk show. Go to Spreadshirt, mail things to my P.O. box, and send me comments, questions about interview questions for Max Collins. Thanks, guys, and